Welcome to pattern making class. I'm your college instructor, Annette Julie, and today we are working on making a copy of our basic back skirt that has been pegged a little bit, taken in here at the hem, and we're going to add seam allowance. So grab your pattern making tools and we're going to get started. Your ruler, pencil, pen, paper, scissor, tape, some pattern making weights or some little cans, and of course the copy of your pegged or basic back skirt. And we have some pattern paper, so we can go ahead and make that copy. That looks good. Let's get started by drawing our grain line. Here at the center back, using my alphanumeric paper, and then I'm also going to draw a hemline, right on my little numbers. This happened to be the X. That works out perfect. Now we're going to place that right down there on the hem in the center back grain line. Let me smooth this out and weight that down. And that looks really good. So make sure you spend some time lining that up. And now we're going to make our copy. This section happens to be straight, so I'm going to use my ruler to trace that off. I'm going to take my ruler and keep the paper down. Also keep my ruler next to it so I don't draw on my pattern. Then we'll come back and true our copy. We're doing the hip area now. Mark off your horizontal balance line. Now we're heading up towards our waist. And now we're at our waist. We're copying off right on that waist edge. We've got points that go over the dart pickup, which we will true up as well. Let's go ahead and mark our dart legs. And our dart tips. That looks good. We've made our copy of our back, marking my horizontal balance line. And then when I lift this up here, I'm just going to connect this straight line on my side seam. And my horizontal balance line. My dart legs. right down to the dart tip. Let's true that up, make sure that they're both at the same level. And then go back 1/2 inch for our drill holes, which you can mark in red so you know which one to actually really mark. So at the end of the dart, we have the dart tip. And then 1/2 inch back, we have our drill hole where we could mark it. And then sew 1/2 inch past. We still need to put on our grain line, but we're going to go ahead and add on some seam allowance, 1/2 inch at the top of the waist. Then here at the side seams, also 1/2 inch. You can use 1/2 inch to do a French seam or overlock or straight stitch and zigzag. And this is for a woven skirt block or basic skirt with a pig at the hem. Let's go ahead and add on our 1 inch seam allowance for our hem allowance. There we go. I'm going to blend the waist. Please be observant of the way that I flip the hip curve to get all those little curved lines in there. Up to that point again. Flip it again. From the point down. And I'm happy to end with a little bit of a curve up over here at the side seam. All of our waist seam allowance. Haven't done the center back yet. Now we're going to continue to blend. We're going to go down our hip. And then down here at our side seam, I was showing in the last video, if you mark up 1 inch and then bring that line down here to our hem, then angle that back in. That's creating the angle we need for the hem to fold back up on top of itself. Notch here at the side seam, hem, notch here at the horizontal balance level, up here at the waist, notches as well. I like to put little loops around them so we can see that they're there. And then here at the center back, you have a choice. If you're using an invisible zipper, you only need 1/2 inch seam allowance. You could also add 1 inch. So this is your personal choice of what you're doing here in the back. I'm going to add 1 inch so that I end up having choices for later. You could do a type of a lapped zipper with 1 inch as well. So this is my center back. And then here we have a 1 inch extension for whatever we want to do with the center back there. You could do 1/2 inch, like I said. And then most zippers are going to come down, 7 inches. If you are a plus size person or ample booty, go down 8 inches. Make an 8-inch zipper. Right now, we're going to go ahead and mark this at 7. And we'll go down another 1/2 inch. And the first notch, that's where we'd put that zipper. And this would be for a 7-inch zipper. I don't need another notch here. I have those double notches. But I do need to add a grain line. So I'm going to go 1 inch away from my center back line and add another grain line so it's separate. Arrows. There's the back that I copied it from. And here's the front that I made in another video that's already butterflied. So this is going to be my back. This is a pegged skirt. This is also a basic skirt because we didn't change anything from the waist or the side seam other than just at the hem. And we are going to cut 2 because we need 2 of the back because we have a center back seam with a zipper. And this is going to be cut to self fabric, which means everything is matching. You can get your name on there. And you can get the date on there for your grain line. You can go ahead and cut it out. Cutting up our side seam, our 1/2 inch seam allowance, cutting down here at the hem. Cutting our center back, where we have double notches. Double notches show us that that it is our back. We need to place those 2 center back pieces together, lining up our double notches. Now, when we come up here to the waist, we can go ahead and fold those darts and cut it out. But I also like to true up a pattern from front to back. So let's see if that's lining up. And we want it to line up literally 1/2 inch in from the side because that's where we're stitching it. And that's where the top is. So yeah, that lines up perfectly right there. So that's great. Now, that's truing. Now we're going to fold our darts from the dart tip. We made sure that it's the true seam balancing from front to back. Folding those dart tips. Okay, and that's a line pretty much perpendicular with your center back. Then we're going to fold that dart pickup so that the physical pickup points towards center back, and in the front it was pointing towards center front. And we're lifting that line. I just creased it, lifting it and placing it on top of the other line. And in the front, I cut it out one way because I had double layers of paper, and here I have a single layer of paper, so I'll show you another way to cut the waist out. Creasing the dart leg closest with center back, placing it on top of the dart leg closest with the side seam. Taping up here in the waist. And we have a little blending to do right here. That's off a little 1/16 of an inch. Let me blend that so it's continuous. And if it didn't match here, I could blend that up 1/8 of an inch, or drop it down 1/8 of an inch and make it match. But it blends fine, so we get to leave it alone. And now we're going to cut our waist out as the darts are taped together above the waist. And we're cutting our new blended line. We have a little correction up there, and there is our back. Now I would do one more set of notches down here, seam allowance, up and up, center back up, side seam up, and my waist I'm going to notch in. Let's look at the front. Side seam, notch that up. We have the horizontal balance line notched, and then here at our waist, we're going to notch that in. And our front is butterflied, one big piece that you can cut open or on the fold, preferably open if you can manage. And then there's our back, which we're going to cut too. And we walked our pattern, and it's looking really good. And I'm excited to make a waistband or a facing in one of my next videos. This is Annette Julie. Look forward to checking out one of my next videos.